Coming up on Arirang News. An increasing number of North Koreans hold a negative view of their leader Kim Jong-un. A report by Seoul's Unification Ministry suggests this and adds that the regime is suffering from a chronic food shortage. The South Korean government plans to raise the quota for medical school students by 2,000 starting next year. This is to address the shortage of medical personnel and will go ahead despite a threat by doctors to go on strike. It's a big night for the Taeguk Warriors as only Jordan stands in South Korea's way to the final and a chance to seize the Asian Cup for the first time since 1960. Good evening. It's 9 p.m. here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us on Arirang News. We begin with the South Korean government's announcement that it'll raise the medical school admissions quota. To address the shortage of medical personnel, it'll be increased by 2,000 per year starting next year for the first time in nearly 2 decades. Our Lee Si-hoo leads us off.
Beginning next year, the South Korean government is increasing the total enrollment quota for the country's medical schools by 2,000 per year. This means a total of 5,058 students will be entering med schools every year, a drastic hike from the quota of 3,058 that's been frozen since 2006. All this comes as South Korea aims to provide quality health care for all, especially for those in rural areas and those in need of essential care.
급속한 고령화와 보건산업 수요에 대응할 의료 인력까지 포함하면 2035년까지 약 1만 5천 명의 의사가 더 필요한 것으로 추산되고 있습니다. 국민의 건강과 생명을 지키기 위해 의사 인력 확대는 더 이상 늦출 수 없는 시대적 과제입니다.
Following President Yoon's comments on Tuesday, Health Minister Jo Kyu-hong, speaking at a ministry briefing, reiterated the reason for the hike.
2,000 more medical students a year would mean as many as 10,000 doctors entering the workforce after training between 2031 and 2035.
Cho said that while this does not exactly meet the estimated demand, the government will continue to periodically evaluate and manage supply and demand. In the process, the government will take into consideration relevant factors such as the advancement of healthcare technology, the aging population, and any future pandemic situations. Meanwhile, the health ministry has vowed that it will work to build a robust regional healthcare system by making sure that a certain percentage of the student body of medical schools outside of the capital area is filled by students from the local region. The specific size of the enrollment by school will be announced later after a review and discussion with the Education Ministry. Lee Si-hoo, Arirang News.
And in a negative response to the government's plan, doctors are threatening to hold a nationwide strike. However, on the other hand, many others in the medical sector, including nurses and healthcare workers, seem to be in favor of increasing the number of doctors. Song Yu-jin has this report.
The medical school quota increase has been a topic of heated debate here in South Korea. The government has been pushing for an expansion to address the shortage of doctors in a country where there are only 2.6 physicians per 1,000 people, far below the OECD average of 3.7. However, this proposal has triggered strong opposition from many doctors in the country. At an emergency press conference on Tuesday, the Korean Medical Association warned of a nationwide strike if the government unilaterally proceeds with the decision to raise the quota.
This has the potential to stir up issues in our national health insurance system, which is on track to turn into a deficit this year and is anticipated to experience a decrease in accumulated funds. There are also concerns about the increase in social costs and the risk of our natural sciences education taking a hit, a critical field in enhancing Korea's competitiveness.
The association, consisting of around 140,000 doctors and medical students, has been critical of the government's plan, arguing that fundamental measures should come first. This includes enhancing the working environment for physicians through better pay or exploring methods to better allocate them so that certain areas of medicine do not experience a lack of doctors. In response, the Korean Health and Medical Workers Union, made up of nurses, caregivers, and healthcare workers, issued a press release dismissing the KMA's actions as an unjustifiable coercion. The union says increasing the number of doctors is supported by the majority of the general public, as it can prevent illegal medical practices and is crucial to enhancing the overall quality of medical services. It also challenged the KMA, calling the government's decision unilateral, emphasizing that the Ministry of Health and Welfare has engaged in dozens of meetings and consultations with the association. If a strike does happen, the Health Ministry has warned of countermeasures, such as an immediate return to work order. Those who do not comply may face a license suspension of up to a year, imprisonment for a maximum of 3 years, or a fine up to 30 million Korean won, which is around $22,500 US. 송유진, Arirang News.
Moving on, the government has announced a special pardon list for the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday. And this time around, big-name politicians and business moguls have been included. President Yoon says this round of pardons is focused on the people's livelihoods. Our presidential office correspondent Kim Do-yeon has the details.
Ahead of Lunar New Year in just a couple of days, President Yoon Suk-yeol on Tuesday granted special pardons to more than 450,000 people, including former key officials. This marks the fourth round of pardons since Yoon's inauguration, which are set to legally take effect from Wednesday. It's customary to issue pardons before major holidays, with the last ones being granted for Liberation Day last August.
이번 사면에는 경제인 5명과 정치인 7명이 포함됩니다. 하지만 무엇보다 이번 사면은 활력 있는 민생 경제에 주안점을 두었습니다. 운전면허 행정제재를 특별 감면하고 식품 접객업자, 생계형 어업인, 역외 화물 운송업자들에 대한 각종 행정제재의 감면을 추진합니다.
However, what caught the public's attention the most was the inclusion of former Defense Minister Kim Kwan-jin, who is currently a member of the Presidential Defense Innovation Committee. Kim was sentenced to 2 years in prison by Seoul High Court for political meddling and abuse of authority. Also on the list is the former Chief of Staff for impeached President Park Geun-hye, Kim Ki-chun. In a retrial last month, the Seoul High Court sentenced Kim to 2 years in prison for his role in creating and enforcing a blacklist of cultural figures under the Park government, leading to their exclusion from government subsidies. Including the two big-name former officials, 24 former public officials were released from their sentences. The list had politicians from both sides of the aisle and former reporters as well.
The decision comes after taking into consideration previous pardons, while the move itself seeks to resolve conflicts, foster national unity, and offer those pardoned a chance to contribute to national development.
Big-name businessmen were also included on the list. SK Executive Vice Chairman and SK On CEO Choi Jae-won and LIG Group Chairman Gu Bon-sang were the most notable names. The government said this was to enhance national competitiveness and for them to contribute to economic growth through advanced technology development and export promotion, which will allow them to create more jobs as well. President Yoon also said that he will make more decisions to boost the economy. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
An increasing number of North Koreans hold a negative view of their leader, Kim Jong-un. A report by Seoul's Unification Ministry suggests this and adds that the regime is suffering from a chronic food shortage. Our North Korean affairs correspondent Kim Jong-sil takes a closer look.
An extensive record of the voices of people who have left North Korea creates a stark image. Unlike what people have been led to believe, the reality of the lives of North Koreans under the regime may have been much harsher than imagined. On Tuesday, the government here released a comprehensive report on the North's economy and its society at large. The report is based on a trove of information that had been kept confidential until now. This is a report that holds the voices of 6,351 North Korean defectors. The Ministry of Unification says this will give valuable insight into understanding the reality of the regime that's closed and isolated from the world. Research experts asked each defector more than 1,100 questions on a one-on-one basis. According to the report, 72.2% said they had not received any food rations from the state once Kim Jong-un became the leader of the North. More than 50% said they received neither food rations nor wages in exchange for work. The ministry said this indicates the regime has been exploiting people by stressing passion and loyalty without paying wages. However, the defectors said most North Korean residents were now having 3 meals a day instead of 2.
Some assessed that the lives of North Koreans had improved, with many buildings being built in Pyongyang ever since Kim Jong-un came to power. But based on our research, this is a mere optical illusion, and the lives of the residents have actually become harsher.
The report said that bribery has doubled since Kim took power, with most residents believing that the gap between the rich and poor in the north has widened. 56.3% of those questioned said they felt negatively about the change of leadership in the north. The ministry gave extensive data in the form of numbers, which it hopes will allow the public and the international community to get a better understanding of the regime's reality. Kim Jong-sil, Arirang News.
Shifting gears. It's a big night for the Taeguk Warriors as only Jordan stands in South Korea's way to the final and the chance to seize the Asian Cup. Our Park Gun-woo takes a closer look at what to look forward to in the semifinals tonight.
Another hurdle for South Korea to overcome and win the Asian Football Confederation Asian Cup for the first time in 64 years. The South Korean national football team will face Jordan in its semifinal match at Qatar's Ahmad bin Ali Stadium in Al Rayyan, west of Doha at 6 p.m. Tuesday local time, or 12 midnight Wednesday here in Korea. With the other semifinal being contested between Qatar and Iran, Korea is the only nation from outside the Middle East to reach the Final Four. Qatar or Iran will be Korea's opponents in the final this Saturday, should they overcome Jordan. Korea beat Australia in the quarterfinals, while Jordan eased past Tajikistan. The two countries are getting ready for a rematch after playing out a 2-2 draw in the group stage last month. Korea have remained unbeaten from their 6 games played so far, with 3 wins and 3 draws. But the team faces some difficulties as Bayern Munich defender Kim Min-jae, one of the top center-backs in the world, is serving a one-match ban. In addition, Korea's round of 16 and quarterfinals matches both went beyond 90 minutes and into extra time. But despite this, head coach Jurgen Klinsmann says he is looking forward to the semifinals.
Obviously, we are now so far, we want to go further. We are hungry. We are fit. We are looking forward to that match. It will be very difficult again, but we want to be here all the way to the final, and that's why the mood is very, very positive. Spirit is very high.
Korea were knocked out at the quarterfinal stage in the last AFC Asian Cup in 2019 and reached the final in 2015. The Taeguk Warriors' last title dates back to 1960, begging the question, can Korea do it? Park Gun-woo, Arirang News.
Over in the Middle East, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, on Monday at the start of his 5th visit to that region since the outbreak of the war in Gaza. The U.S. State Department says that Blinken underscored the importance of addressing humanitarian needs in Gaza and preventing further spread of the conflict. He is also set to visit Egypt, Qatar, Israel, and the Israeli-occupied West Bank this week. He aims to advance talks to end the 4-month-long Israel-Hamas war and secure the release of Israeli hostages held in Gaza. And in the UK, concerns and well-wishes have been expressed and shared following news of King Charles' cancer diagnosis. Lee Seung-jae reports.
Buckingham Palace said Monday that King Charles III had been diagnosed with cancer. The palace said that the medical tests revealed a form of cancer, but did not clarify what type of cancer King Charles was diagnosed with. However, royal officials said that the form of cancer detected was not prostate cancer. The remarks come after the 75-year-old monarch went to a London hospital for a corrective procedure for an enlarged prostate last month, leading to prostate cancer speculation. With Charles beginning treatment, he will take a break from his public-facing duties, as recommended by doctors, but will continue his official state duties. Other senior royals, including Queen Camilla and Prince William, will reportedly cover public engagements. Meanwhile, Prince Harry will travel to London to be at his father's side in the coming days. The Duke of Sussex's last appearance at a royal occasion took place in May during the coronation of King Charles. Harry moved to the U.S. with his wife Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, after they stepped back as senior royals in 2020. Since then, his relationship with some other royals has been strained. World leaders have expressed concerns over the cancer diagnosis, including U.S. President Joe Biden, who said he would be speaking with him soon after hearing of his diagnosis. 이승재, Arirang News.
Thank you.
South Korea has sealed a $3.2 billion deal with Saudi Arabia to export 10 MSAM-2 mid-range surface-to-air missile batteries. Seoul's Defense Ministry announced the deal on Tuesday, revealing that the agreement was inked between South Korean defense firm LIG Next One and the Saudi Arabian Defense Ministry last November. The MSAM-2, known as the Korean Patriot, is a hit-to-kill missile capable of intercepting incoming missiles at altitudes ranging from 30 to 40 kilometers. The announcement comes after the defense ministers of the two countries met in Riyadh over the weekend to strengthen arms cooperation. Just like last year, people who buy electric cars in South Korea this year will be able to get subsidies from the government. But to receive them, the vehicle purchased has to be worth less than 85 million won, or around $64,000. The Ministry of Environment on Tuesday announced this year's electric car subsidy revision, saying that up to $5,000 in subsidies will be provided depending on the price of the vehicle. On top of this, consumers can also get financial benefits from the local governments in the area they live. More information can be found on the Ministry of Environment website. In the U.S., female artists took home the top honors at this year's Grammys, and Taylor Swift stole the show. Yoon has more.
On Sunday night at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, the 66th Annual Grammy Awards honored the year's best recordings, compositions, and artists. With women dominating the music industry's top honors, Taylor Swift cemented her position as one of the greatest songwriters of her era, as she became the first artist to win the Grammy Award for Album of the Year for the fourth time with her 10th studio album, Midnights. Miley Cyrus won Record of the Year for Flowers, Billie Eilish won Song of the Year for What Was I Made For, and R&B singer-songwriter Victoria Monet won Best New Artist. But K-pop was nowhere to be found. BTS had been nominated for Best Pop Duo Group Performance in the previous 3 years. And despite BTS having won trophies at other major American music award ceremonies like the Billboard Music Awards and the American Music Awards, K-pop artists were absent from this year's list of nominees. A professor of Korean and East Asian Studies suggests the reason lies in the more regional nature of the awards and K-pop's strive for a more global audience.
The Grammys have always been primarily about the USA and, to a certain extent, English language music produced with an emphasis on the US market. And K-pop is focused on outward expansion, and it does want the approval of the US market, but it's also looking at the rest of the world. K-pop hasn't lost itself chasing an American dream, and in many ways it's more global than the regionally focused artists at the Grammys.
Female artists dominated this year, taking home all the major prizes. But in 2023, only 19.5% of all songwriters across the Billboard Hot 100 songs were women. Yoon, Arirang News.
And with K-pop enjoying popularity around the world, it's now expanding to other platforms. Musical film K-School incorporates singing, dancing, and acting to bring dreams to life on the big screen with its impending release. Our Moon Hae-ryun went to the premiere and files this report.
K-pop meets the international stage in a new format, the big screen as a musical film. The press premiere for K-School, the world's first musical movie in 8K resolution, took place here in Seoul on Monday. With K-pop stars such as Yena from April and Taewon from 우주소녀 starring in lead roles in the movie, other idol groups 8 and Amers came to show their support for the film. K-School is a musical film about a young girl called Sua who has a natural flair for fashion design but is struggling to make ends meet and chases her dreams by working as a cleaner at a top fashion college, K-School. Throughout the 120-minute running time, the audience is taken through several choreographed musical numbers to show Sua's journey as she overcomes various obstacles. The film won awards in 4 different categories at the Toronto International Nollywood Film Festival in 2022, including in the musical theme film category and the Viewer's Choice Award. Director Bang Mi-kyung, who also won the Best Female Filmmaker Award in the international category, explained that the film was able to resonate with the global audience due to the message it delivers.
This is a film about dreams. Dreams aren't just for young people. People can also have new dreams later in life. I planned and produced this content for a global audience because I thought it would resonate with everyone.
She also spoke of K-pop's global popularity and how it influenced the film.
K-pop idols are able to sing and dance and are also good actors. So something that combined all of these traits was a musical based on K-pop.
As for the K-pop stars featured in K-School, they talked about how fan support meant a lot to them as the release of the movie was delayed by 3 years due to COVID-19.
I was really nervous since it was my debut on the big screen. But now that 3 years have gone by since I began shooting and the film will be seen by audiences, I just hope that it will receive a lot of love.
Those wanting to check out the movie can do so at cinemas across South Korea from February 21st. Moon Hae-ryun, Arirang News.
South Korea's aerobatic team, the Black Eagles, will depart on Sunday to perform at air shows in Singapore and the Philippines. The Air Force announced Tuesday that the Black Eagles will participate in one of the world's top aviation events, the Singapore Air Show, held from February 20th to the 25th. Then at an air show in the Philippines from March the 3rd to the 5th to commemorate the 75th anniversary of bilateral diplomatic ties. The Air Force will dispatch 9 T-50Bs and 3 C-130 transport aircraft for the events. Even though rain in most areas has stopped, cloudy skies continued across the country today. As skies will gradually clear up, sunny weather will be seen again across the country tomorrow. However, as smoke from overseas flows in, ultrafine dust concentrations may increase at night in Seoul and other metropolitan areas. Tomorrow morning's temperatures will be similar to or lower than today's, starting at -2 degrees Celsius in Seoul. Daytime temperatures will also be similar to today's. However, it will feel less cold because the wind is not blowing. Some areas will start the morning at below freezing temperatures tomorrow. 춘천 and Daejeon -3, Gwangju and Gyeongju -1 degree. As for daily highs, Daegu, Gyeongju, and Jeju will get up to 7 degrees Celsius. Milder weather will continue without much cold for the time being. It's expected to be clear without any news of snow during the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
Well, that is all for this newscast. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 10 p.m. with the AI headline news. Take care.